Dave, John Ho just left the room. You know his history, made his debut in 1994 as the first Korean-born. How, in your mind, has he influenced the game of baseball and made these 2 days happen in the Seoul Series?
Well, I think there's very few players that have they can look through baseball through their own personal lens of trying to perform or survive, and then also to try to be build a legacy and feel the responsibility of whether it be a city or, in this case, a country. And Chan Ho had both, and so obviously he impacted the Dodgers in Major League Baseball while carrying the responsibility of elevating, making notice the Koreans and people of South Korea, the ball players, the young ball players that want to be the next Chan Ho. And so that's hard to do. And so he's been an ambassador for the game for many years and still goes back to Los Angeles, obviously working with the Padres now, and former teammate of mine. He's done a great job, from what I hear, of hosting the organization and outings and dinners and being an advocate. And speaking for the Dodgers, we couldn't be more happy and couldn't have been more welcomed here in Seoul, and very exciting times.
It's a monumental day, but something happened earlier today. Can you just give us your reaction when you first heard the news about the threat?
About what?
About the bomb threat.
I just sort of heard it, and they said it was diffused and not think too much of it, so I didn't really pay too much mind.
Other questions? We'll go to Kirsten on your right, Dave.
Dave, first, just happy opening day. The last 6 weeks, you've gotten to know the new key guys of this organization. What have you learned just about this team as you prepare for the regular season now?
I think we've done a good job of assimilating all of our guys. It's a veteran-laden club with some talented young ball players on both the pitching and the positional player side. They all get along well. They practice hard. They practice right, and they've enjoyed this trip out here. But they're ready to play some meaningful baseball games.
Other questions for Dave? We'll go to Jim, the third row on your right.
Yeah, Dave, I'd have a dozen questions, but I'm going to keep it to one. Your mom's Japanese, and so you're playing your opening game in Asia. What does it mean to you?
I haven't let myself go there too much. I've sort of just tried to be present here in Seoul, but yeah, I mean, we flew over Okinawa, Japan, where I was born. My mom was born, so there's a lot of Japanese contingent that's been here, and which has been fun for me. Trying to catch up on my Japanese, which I've got a long way to go. But yeah, I pinch myself a lot thinking I'm in this chair right now, and I'm just very grateful to be here. Yeah.
Other questions? Standing on your right, one.
What kind of went into the pitching decisions for the roster, and Blake Treinen, what's kind of his status?
I think that the pitching decisions, obviously we brought Blake in hopes that he'd be ready to go. He took a ball off the oblique and the rib, and it's just not kind of progressing like we'd liked. So, he's back on. He's playing catch still, slower program. So just adding another arm there. Obviously, Gratterall didn't travel with us, and some other pitchers that just weren't going to be available. So I think that for us, we've got some guys, whether it be Kyle Hurt, Landon Knack, to go of multiples, and then we've got some other guys, Fireheisen, Varland, to kind of be spot, give us some innings if we need it. But that's sort of it. And obviously with Tyler and Yoshinobu, that was pretty easy for us.
Front on your right, Jack.
Also, just with Sheehan, where is he at right now from what you know back?
Yeah, so the arm is feeling a lot better. He threw to hitters today, so Emmett Sheehan's in a really good spot. Threw an inning sitting 95, so it was good. So he'll probably throw another pen in 2-3 days, and then he'll throw to hitters again and probably ramp up to 2 innings. So Emmett's progressing really nicely, as is Walker Buehler.
And then what do you just want to see, or what are you most curious to see just the first, regular season game with this group and Ohtani and after all the offseason and build-up?
Well, I think now it's just baseball. For us, Tyler's built up. We feel good where he's at. Our relievers have had a couple days off, so that just go out there in compete mode. And obviously, I've got to sort of learn, Mike and the roster with the Padres and how they kind of deploy guys, and so trying to figure that out in game one, which we don't know yet. So kind of trying to feel things out. But as far as on the player side, just go play.
Bill in the third row on your right.
Yeah, Dave, tomorrow's starter, Yamamoto, his last 2 starts in Arizona, the results weren't great. What should we make of that?
They weren't, they weren't the first couple outings that we saw. There was certainly some contact. The first innings have been great. Balls out over the plate. I think there were some uncharacteristic walks in there, so I don't see the walk in play this year. I do think that there's going to be some contact, but a punch out when needed. So I'm not thinking too much of those outings. I still think that, once the bell rings, there's a heightened focus. So I think getting him built up, keeping him healthy as he's opened the season was the biggest win, and we'll go from there.
Have you talked to him at all about, does he typically start slow or springs more for tinkering for him? Have you had any of those conversations?
You know what? I haven't talked to him about that in particular. I do know that it's not as aggressive as a ramp up as he's been used to in Japan. It was typically 1, 3, 5, 7 or 9 innings. And so we're a little bit more conservative. So he's not going to throw 120 pitches. I know that tomorrow night. But, I expect him to be good.
Go to the second row on your left, Dave.
Hi, Dave. I just wanted to clarify what you said about the bomb scare. You said that you told that it had been diffused.
I didn't hear. I was told that don't just keep worrying about the baseball game. So I have not. I don't have enough information on this.
Right. So you weren't specifically told that it was diffused because we'd heard that they hadn't found anything at all.
I honestly, for me, I haven't heard any specifics. So that's to be clear.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Go to your right, Dave, on the far end here.
And then, Dave, as far as Tyler Glasnow and Yamamoto, do you anticipate managing their workload any differently than the other 3 starters to make sure that they're peaking at the right time in October?
Yeah, I think so. I think that Tyler, I think all the pitchers, I think that's the goal, is to certainly earn your way to the postseason. But that's kind of a read and react on all the guys as the season progresses and how each outing goes and how they feel. So I think that, Yoshinobu, Tyler, Bobby, once we get Walker, Clayton, they're all going to be different. And obviously the goal is to be peaking at the right time.
Yeah, and then back in 2014, last time you had 2 pitchers go in Australia, both of them end up getting injured. Did you learn anything from that kind of changed anything about the approach to this start?
Well, first off, I wasn't here then. I think that we had some staff that was here then and trying to learn from things. But, there's also situations where pitchers have pitched in exhibition games and nothing has happened. So I don't like to get caught up in certain instances as in kind of the norm. And so I think that that's more isolated. But again, I hope none of these guys come out of this injured.
Thanks, Dave.
Finish up in the third row on your left, Dave.
Yeah. Dave, do you have any plan to meet Hyunjin Lee?
I hope he's here tonight. So if he's here, then I'm sure that we'll cross paths. I'd love to see him, but obviously he's preparing for his season as well. I respect that. But if I get the opportunity, that'd be fantastic.